Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Aisha Nazir. The topic of today's lecture is fully associative mapping. In the last lecture, we have learnt about direct mapping. In this lecture, we will see associative mapping as comparison with direct mapping. What are the differences between these two techniques? Which is better? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of direct mapping in the scenario of associative mapping? So let's get started. Fully associative mapping. Let's see basically what the mapping is. Which block of main memory, that is RAM, comes at which part of cache? This is called mapping or cache mapping. In direct mapping, as we have discussed earlier, we fixed that block 0 will come at line 0 of cache, block 1 of main memory will come at line number 1 of cache, but in associative mapping, we assume that any block can come at any cache location at any line. There is no any restriction as in the direct mapping. Fully associative mapping is more flexible as compared to the direct mapping. Let's understand the concept of fully associative mapping and direct mapping by a bookshelf. As we know that the bookshelves come in different shapes and different sizes. So the bigger bookshelf is the RAM, that is main memory, while the small bookshelf is cache memory. So in direct map, bookshelf is divided into equal size frames in which we put on the book. Each book has its place in cache. So that book will particularly go in its own location. In direct mapping, this is not allowed that you put any book at anywhere in different places. Hopefully you visited different libraries in which they define different sections like encyclopedias or science fiction stories or such like stories, Urdu adab like that. So all the books related to Urdu adab will put on the section of Urdu adab. All the stories of science fiction will put in the section of science fiction stories. This is not allowed that you put Urdu adab book into science fiction section. In the same scenario, in full associative mapping, there is no any reserved location of any book. You can put each book, every book at every different location. There is no any restriction. That's why it's called more flexible technique as compared to direct mapping. In direct mapping, if there is any free space, then it will remain free. We will never assign free space to any other block because we fixed each block with each line. While in fully associative mapping, we can use this free space freely. In fully associative mapping, if we found any free space, then we will put that frame into that specific place. There is no such restriction of use in fully associative mapping. If more blocks will be in cache, then there would be more chances of cache hit and very less chances of miss. Because in direct mapping, we have fixed the location for each frame. So we will just see the tag and we will start comparison and matching the blocks. So there would be more chances of cache hit and very less chances miss. As you can see, the memory address, that is a physical address, consists of 3 parts in which the tag consists of 3 bits, line number, that is a fixed line number that shows with 2 bits, and block offset means content in the block is shows by the 2 bits. So it is all together is 7 bits in scenario of 128 words problem. So in direct mapping, line number was fixed, while in associative mapping there is no need to fix line. Any block can come at any line number. So there is no need of line number because these are not fixed. So the new arrangement would be like that. In the same 128 word scenario, the tag would be of 5 words because they assemble the tag and the line number. So the tag would be of 5 bits while the block offset will be shown by the 2 bits. So total is 7 bits. So the new arrangement would be as tag would be of 5 bits. Tag is used to distinguish any 2 blocks inside cache because every block has different tag. Tag is the main element that distinguishes between the different blocks. A tag tells that which block will be in cache. Block offset defines elements inside the block. As in the direct mapping scenario, a cache block can only go in one spot in the cache. It makes a cache block very easy to find, but it's not very flexible about where to put that block. In short, in direct mapping, the memory address consists of 3 parts: tag, line number that we call somewhere as index 2, and then the block offset, which defines the content inside the block. While in fully associative mapping, no index, no block number is needed, no line number is needed. Why? Because there is a flexibility, there is a freedom that we can put everywhere in the cache, wherever we got free space. Since a cache block can go anywhere in the cache, every tag must be compared when finding a block in the cache. So it would be a very lengthy procedure because we have to compare all the tags that are available in cache. But block placement is very flexible. Associative memory saves content and memory addresses of each word in the form of tag. In associative mapping, RAM, that is main memory, can load any page at any frame of cache. There is no any fixed location for any page as we did in direct mapping. Fully associative is more flexible than direct mapping. It provides very fast searching. It supports parallel searching. In direct mapping, there is only one comparison of each block, while in associative mapping, it increases the comparison because any block can be at any line number, so we have to check every tag and find the value. So if we talk about the two-way set associative mapping or four-way set associative mapping, it's very much similar to the direct mapping. As in two-way associative mapping, this cache is basically made up of sets that can fit 2 blocks each. Means the combination of 2 blocks makes one set. So in each set we can put 2 different frames at one location, and we use indexes, block numbers that starts from 0 to onward. So the indexes are basically used to find the set, and the tag helps find the block within the set. So in this way the two-way set associative mapping works. While in the four-way set associative, it has the same physical memory address, but the set size would be bigger as compared to the two ways. It's the same as in the shelf in the two-way set where we put only 2 books in one set in one shelf. Now we can put in the four-way set associative cache memory, we can put 4 books at one place in a one set. So each set can hold 4 books, 4 blocks. So there are fewer sets. As such, fewer index bits are needed. So searching is very fast. We search it quickly as compared to the two-way and direct mapping. These are known as n-ways set associative mappings. So in short, there are basically two ways to organize cache memory: direct mapping and fully associative mapping. Direct mapped cache is simpler, cheaper, and works faster. It is easier to find a single entry wherever the content is in direct mapping cache. While in fully associative cache, it is more complex. And if it has to find any entry, it has to compare all the entries existing in cache, because the fully associative cache is more flexible as compared to direct map, and we can store each block at any frame in the cache memory. So fully associative caches are more useful for really small cache sizes. So this is all about the fully associative mapping. So hopefully you grab the concept. The assignment of this week is you have to write the comparison and 5 differences of both techniques: direct mapping and fully associative mapping. Thank you very much.